In 1994, a group of 5 friends from Caracas, Venezuela, set out for an adventurous hiking expedition to the mystical, remote peak of Mount Roraima, a flat-topped mountain that juts out from the Venezuelan rainforest. Known for its sheer cliffs and mysterious beauty, Roraima was an uncharted, almost mythological place in the hearts of the indigenous Pemin people who believed the mountain was home to ancient spirits. The friends, 3 men and 2 women, were seasoned travelers, used to the rigors of climbing and survival. They had researched the trek extensively and felt confident in their preparation. However, once they reached the base of the mountain, something strange began to happen. On the 3rd day of the trek, as they ascended the rugged terrain, one of the women, Elena, fell ill with a high fever. At first, they thought it was just exhaustion, but Elena began speaking in tongues, mumbling incoherently about the eyes watching and the voices in the trees. Her friends dismissed it as dehydration and fatigue. They decided to set up camp and rest for the night. The weather turned suddenly, the sky turning an unnatural shade of green before a storm broke out, forcing them to huddle in their tents. The next morning, Elena was gone. There were no signs of struggle, no tracks leading away from the camp. The only thing left behind was a single, half-burned candle, placed deliberately on the edge of the campfire. The friends searched for hours, calling her name into the dense jungle, but all they found were whispers, faint, like the breeze through the trees. As the sun set, they realized the mountain had swallowed her whole. Frantic and desperate, they decided to press on, hoping to find a way down the mountain, but things only grew worse. The air became suffocating, and the sense of being watched intensified. One of the men, Javier, swore he heard footsteps behind him in the dense underbrush, but when he turned, there was nothing there. The group had no choice but to descend, but their path led them deeper into the forest. On the 6th day, one of the other hikers, Daniel, disappeared in the night. His tent was found slashed open, his sleeping bag torn to pieces. There were no traces of him, not even footprints. Panic set in among the remaining members of the group, but they decided to continue downward, hoping to reach civilization. By the time they reached the base of the mountain, only 2 of them remained, Marco and Anna. Marco was so severely dehydrated and delirious that he couldn't remember the last few days. Anna was traumatized and silent, her eyes constantly darting to the shadows of the jungle. When they finally made it to the nearest village, they were a shell of who they had been when they left. They recounted the horrors they experienced, but the villagers listened in silence, as if they already knew. The villagers told them that the mountain was cursed, that the spirits of the lost travelers, those who dared to climb too high, would take their toll, one by one, until none remained. Years later, the story of the vanished hikers became folklore, whispered among locals who swore never to venture into the mountains past dusk. But every year, there are reports of travelers who go missing in the vicinity of Mount Roraima.